Hi, and welcome to Actor Talk, where I discuss different topics and techniques relating to acting. Today's video is on Christian film acting and why it's notoriously so bad. If you've watched any number of Christian films, from independent short films to big budget flicks, one thing that seems to recur in all of them is bad acting. Why is that? Well, there are several reasons, but the main reason is the umbrella reason, which is no training. Let's take this scenario. You're a young filmmaker about ready to make your first short film. You don't have much of a budget, so what are you going to do for actors? You ask your family members, friends, churchgoers, basically anyone that's available. These actors have no formal training and therefore have no idea how to prepare for a role and create a character that's believable. These actors have no formal training and therefore have no idea how to prepare for a role to create and give a genuine, honest, truthful performance. The sad part is the majority of Christian film actors have no training. None. So I want to break this down a little bit. Why is Christian film acting so bad? Here's why. First, they don't know how to break down and analyze a script. You give an untrained actor a script to work on. Most of the time, they're just going to memorize their lines, and that's it. They don't understand things like provocative phrases, key facts, beats and doings, deeper wish, spine phrase. These things that I just mentioned are key to creating a truthful character, a believable character. They're key to understanding the character you're going to portray. These things will help you understand your motivations, why you do what you do, who you really are. Sanford Meisner said character comes from how you do what you do. It also helps you understand how you feel towards other people in the story, and very importantly, how you change from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. Second, most Christian actors fake all their emotions. Emotion in your acting should be real, because the audience can tell when you're faking it. If you watched my previous video on method acting, I talked a bit about how in the vaudeville days, they would indicate their emotion by a gesture or a facial expression, and how that was all superficial. There was no truth to it. There was no depth to it. The greatest actors in the world, think Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep, Dustin Hoffman, their emotions in their films are all genuine. They are truly experiencing those emotions in that moment on camera. The results of that kind of emotional work is riveting to watch. It's so raw, and the characters are so vulnerable, and we can connect with that on a really deep level, which we couldn't connect to at all if it was merely a put-on, which is what most Christian actors do. You really can't have a truly moving, vulnerable, raw performance if the emotion's all fake. Sanford Meisner said, "You cannot escape the impact of emotion, whether it's in a big theater or a tiny one. If you have it, it infects you and the audience. You can't fake emotion. It immediately exposes the fact that you ain't got it." Third, most actors pretend everything else. Meisner said the foundation of acting is the reality of doing. Most Christian actors, because they have no training, think acting is just pretending. So that's what they do. They pretend to listen, they pretend to think, all while just waiting for their cue so they can say their next line. Oftentimes, they're just thinking about their next line, and they're not at all listening to the other scene partner. Not only is it what acting is not, acting is living truthfully, i.e. doing, in other words, action, but it's also much harder to do. It's so much easier to really do something rather than pretend and try to make it look like you're doing that thing. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm playing a character who is not a native English speaker or has some sort of learning disability and has trouble reading. There's two ways you can do that, the pretend way and the real way. So here's the pretend way. Got a book here. I'm just going to open it to a random page, and I'm going to try to make it look like I have trouble reading English. Was it some midnight assassin who had come to carry out the murderous orders of the secret tribunal? Or was it some agent who was marking up that the last day of grace had arrived. Now I'm going to do it. I'm going to really do it, not pretend. So I'm going to turn the book upside down and notice the difference between pretending, making it look like I'm having difficulty reading versus actually having difficulty reading. Or had escaped, that is much more likely, for he would have known what their term of imprisonment was. It would not have been a surprise to him. What does he do then? He guards himself against a wooden-legged man, a white man. Mark you, for he mistakes a white tradesman for him, and actually fires a pistol at him. So you see the difference in everything, in the facial expressions, in the way the words are spoken, everything about it. You can tell I am really trying to read it and I'm having difficulty. I'm really struggling, as opposed to making it look like I'm struggling. It's so much easier the second way. It really is that easy. By doing, instead of making it look like, you give a much more realistic, honest performance. And the audience can connect with that deep down inside, because they're seeing truthful behavior instead of watching someone lie. Now those are 3 reasons, and as I said, that all boils down to one thing: lack of training. A good majority of Christian actors have no formal acting training. They've never studied Sanford Meisner, Stella Adler, Lee Strasberg, Stanislavski, Uta Hagen, any of these great acting teachers. So they resort to faking everything, faking their emotion, faking their actions, everything, because they have no idea how to really do it truthfully and honestly. Yet they want to give a truthful, honest, raw performance. The two can't go hand in hand. The greatest actors in the world study hard and train in these different techniques to be able to give such amazing performances of human vulnerability. By the way, you can't have a truly gripping emotional performance and vulnerability if you're faking everything. So if we want to see acting in Christian films get better, we need people who want to be actors in Christian film to really go out and study acting. Study Meisner, study Adler, study Strasberg, learn the techniques, develop them, train hard, and then use those techniques to build a truthful performance that's full of genuine honesty and people can really connect to. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Let me leave you with this quote by Sanford Meisner. Don't be an actor. Be a human being who works off what exists under imaginary circumstances. Don't give a performance. Let the performance give you.